Imagine this scenario. The driver comes back after a long day of working hard in college. While driving home, thinking about what their next schedule is going to be, all of a sudden they hit the brakes because they just noticed in time the pedestrian walking sign. What I just told you are some ways a person can be distracted. We have all been distracted before, and it's okay, it's normal to be distracted, it's part of life. So let me inform you on the types of distractions you can have, the physical, mental effects, and the consequences. From the moment the driver gets in the car, they are filled with different types of distractions. The first distraction is called cognitive distraction. It is when the body, such as the eyes and hands, are focusing on the road, but the mind is not. The mind could be occupied with solving a problem, daydreaming, or planning their next schedule. According to Sun Q, that does research on cognitive distraction based on real vehicle experiments, it was found that drivers experience 68 to 86% cognitive distraction and 80% were visually distracted. This will move us over to our second distraction called visual distractions. This will cause the driver to take their eyes off the road. Some examples include the passenger seat telling the driver to look at something, the driver looking at a text message, or being curious what's outside the window. The third distraction is called manual distractions. This distraction will cause the driver to take their hands off the wheel, such as wanting to text, doing their makeup, or the passenger giving the driver things. The last distraction is called auditory distractions. This will cause the driver to not hear important sounds such as sirens and horns, such as having conversations with someone on the phone or the passenger seat, or listening to loud music with their headphones on. Not only are all of these types of distractions distracting to the driver, but could also be too much for the driver if they also experience physical and mental effects. Some examples include the driver experiencing a slower reaction time. The body and the mind can't help but experience the effects of stress, lack of sleep, being sick, and having heavy emotions. At times, this will cause the body and mind to be under too much pressure, as the body will want to shut down and the mind to reset, which will cause both the mind and the body not to react fast enough if a problem were to occur. Second is that something that is distracting the driver's brain to have impaired decision making, such as having a foggy brain or feeling overstimulated. The driver can have a hard time making the right decision when they don't have a clear mindset at that moment, as they could turn when cars are coming, go on a red light, and going too close or too far from a car. Third is inhibition blindness. It would be as if the driver's eyes are open but their brain is closed. Such as when the driver is talking to the passenger, the brain focuses in on the conversation. As a result, the driver fails to notice 3 stop signs. And lastly, stress and anxiety. According to Rajat, PTF, and Moseri, a field study of stress and fatigue in long-distance drivers, it was found that before the drivers started their shifts, they would experience anxiety due to demands of work, and drivers who have a 9 to 12 hour shifts will show signs of slower heart rates and fatigue that would increase stress levels. Anyone can be stressed at any given moment, and it doesn't help that anxiety amplifies it. Both can play a key role in keeping the driver in a constant state of nervousness or tension, which will cause the driver to have any of the physical and mental effects. Knowing now what the driver can experience, I will now inform you the consequences the distracted driver can cause from themselves and others. Crashes are the most impactful thing anyone can experience, since as a single crash can take away lives and leave emotional trauma. Did you know, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, a government agency focused on road safety, made a 2022 study and found that 42,514 lives were lost on U.S. roads. Additionally, in that same year, 12,151 were from speeding-related traffic deaths. A closer look into the impact of one of these many deaths, broadcasted by CBS17.com by news reporter Chris Cleave on February 13, 2020, titled "Parents Speak Out After Its Son Killed by Driver Apparently Distracted by Pornography." The 18-year-old had dreams of going to college to get a rodeo scholarship, but his life was cut too early. The parents had a hole forever missing in their hearts. Now, looking more into the consequences of the driver itself, the judge can impose fines, suspend the driver's license, remove their driving privileges, make the driver do community service, be placed in programs, probation, and jail time depending on the severity of those affected. For those affected by the driver, they can file a civil lawsuit or a criminal complaint, in which the driver will have to compensate for pain and suffering damages, property damages, medical expenses, and lost wages. Not only is the driver going to have to pay the victim, but it can also impact their future opportunities and any of their financial costs. Now that the driver has a permanent record, it will be harder to get a job depending on what the job is. The employer might not accept the driver because of their background. The driver might even get denied scholarships and programs. And if the driver has a history of distracted driving, their insurance will cost high or even lose the driver's coverage, making it harder for the driver to get covered by their insurance again. And no insurance will want to cover a reckless driver if they were to apply again. If they do expect the driver, it's going to be really expensive. It's important to know that these different types of distractions are relevant to be informed of, as we are always busy and on the go. It's easy to be distracted from everyday life as it exhausts your mind and body, so much so that the aftermath can have a long-term effect for the driver and anyone affected. As we are driving more and more, it's important to stay informed of the consequences of driving. Thank you.